Welcome. It is no accident that you have found your way to the Release the Genie podcast. What would you do with 3 wishes? And what if you discovered that you are in fact that very genie that could grant them? Well, join us now as we discover who our next genie is as we listen in and learn the stories of triumph, inspiration, and passion with some very special guests. And now, without further delay, your host of the Release the Genie podcast, Mr. Paul Rogers.
That's so much better. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're tuning in from. I am your host, Paul Rogers, and welcome to another episode of Release the Genie. We have got a wonderful genie today, Pix Jonasson. Jonasson. Oh, yeah. So we practiced the name. I practiced the name before. Let me tell you a little bit about this really wonderful lady. She has the 3-time survivors of a near fatal road accident. If that's not enough, she then uses that to overcome adversity, abuse, tragedy, and trauma for everyone else. She is a courageous live life and love life. And listen to this, a couragepreneur. I mean, how cool is that? I've never met another couragepreneur, so that is wonderful. And also a international best-selling writer and author. So welcome to the show, Pix. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much, Paul, for having us on this show. Really appreciate it.
It's lovely. Now, Pix is in Australia, so that means I'm actually talking to the future now, which is kind of cool. So I wonder if I'll set the backdrop now for you. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'd like to say I'm a single mum, most importantly, because my kids are, I guess, my greatest treasure on this amazing planet. As you said, I'm also a best-selling author. I'm proud to say that I'm a fellow podcast host as well. And what else would it be other than a couragepreneur? So I love that. And I'm also the proud owner of 2 online health and wellness businesses. One is primarily product-based in 6 countries, and the other one is actually all about frequency therapy, which is really exciting, and that's in 40 countries. So that's what I do. But I guess, and we'll touch on in our interview, I'm a huge passionate advocate for healthy living, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, and financially. So that's pretty much me. And everything I do is all in alignment, like jump on podcasts such as Release of the Genie and things like that.
I mean, to be honest, you kind of, as you say, we'll touch on it, but you really live and breathe everything you do there. And everything, I think, is just a follow on from passion for you.
Yeah.
And so now it's really, really nice to meet somebody so sort of energetic, and I can feel the energy sort of pouring all the way from Australia to Canada. So it's really nice. I wonder if you could sort of talk us through your Release the Genie moment.
Oh, you've mentioned about 3 life-threatening car accidents. And the first one was when I was 7, and tragically my grandmother was killed, but I was asleep in the back seat. Second one was when I was about 24, and then it happened, and you think, okay. The third one was only 10 weeks to the day after number 2, and that was my aha. I knew how it happened. I had a micro sleep because I was tired. I fell asleep at the wheel. I rolled the car, went down an embankment. And that's not to impress anyone, simply to impress upon you that life happens and it can be gone in an instant. It was my thought, why did I survive this? And that was like, wow, what is my passion? I could have so easily have gone in accident number 1 or 2 or 3, yet I didn't. So that was my aha moment. Why did I survive? And people say, oh, you have to find your why, or what's your passion, what's your purpose. It's taking me that long, and then subsequently till now, courtesy of this year we've gone through, to really find my passion. So I guess that was initially my aha moment, and then more recently, courtesy of what we're going through.
It's the big C word, isn't it now?
Yes,
So
it is. Yes.
I mean, to be honest, that's amazing. Now, in sporting terms, you usually get 3 strikes and you're out. So, to be honest, you haven't left the base; you're still on it. So,
No, exactly. Yeah. And they
and
say a cat's got 9 lives, but I tell you what, Paul, I've stopped counting
yeah,
because I'm getting too close to 9 the way I am.
yeah, I think we just lose that. We won't go into Sesame Street counting and so no, I think
That's
we'll just
right.
pretend. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, that is a real moment, and we bonded quite strongly over sort of similar type of stories.
Yes. Yes.
So I have a massive amount of empathy, and also I really understand where that passion comes from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And making a difference and helping others is
Mm.
it's wonderful things. So
Yeah. And that's a really important thing because you may have heard, or your listeners may have heard about have, do, be, which is fine.
mm,
You and I are both have, do, be, and give.
yeah.
And I'm all about paying it forward. And yes, that tops up my tank, but I want to leave a generational legacy. So I'm growing that by my speaking, my coaching, my podcast, my businesses. And it's all about paying it forward. And that's why I guess we bonded and gelled and connected so quickly. So thank you to Lisa, Lisa Jonasson,
Yes.
who suggested that we get in contact, and she's a fellow GGA, Global Goodwill Ambassador as well. So that's another incredible movement and organisation there.
I mean, and I always love the word movement because that just sounds it's full of energy rather than whatever. So I love I
Yeah,
love the word movement. It always means I always pay attention when I hear that word.
yeah.
So well, look, this is going to be really interesting. What has been or what is one of your inspirational quotes or mantras which you live by?
Well, I still say it, but dreams with action defy logic because it's all about dreaming. But you can dream, and if you don't put that action in, though, you won't achieve anything. So, dreams with action defy logic. That is my own personal one. And another one I like too, Paul, is live life, love life, be your best. And I guess I've amended that slightly to courageously live life, love life, be your most resilient best self, because it is about dancing in the circumstance. Like you've had adversity and tragedy and trauma that you've overcome. Every single person on this planet has that.
Yeah.
I'm no different experiencing that abuse or tragedy or trauma, other than being such a vocal spokesperson for it. So yeah, it's live life, love life, be your most courageous, resilient best.
I love that because you are dedicated to bringing the invisible visible by
Mm.
what you do, whether helping people through coaching, speaking, being part of these great big associations as well. So
Yeah, thank
I
you.
I applaud and congratulate you on anything like that. And you know, we mentioned the second aha with the coronavirus, and
Yeah.
I think your work and your speaking and what you've been able to experience before really now comes into the main, doesn't it?
Mm. And I want to instill too to your audience, Paul, is that I moved to Sydney 2 years ago, which is on the east coast of Australia, Australia's most populous and most expensive city. So being an entrepreneur, I had to be humble enough to go, okay, I need to get a job as well. So I did have a full-time job. I was only casual though. And well, actually, it doesn't really matter whether I was casual or permanent because even permanents got put off. But I got put off at 5 minutes' notice on
Mm,
Saturday, the 14th of March at 4:55 p.m. I was given my marching orders not to come back Monday. DCM, don't come Monday. And I thought, wow, what do I do? And that's where I had to have the courage to really back myself. And it's people such as yourself and, other connections that I've made that have given me the courage to go, really back yourself, get your stuff out there so that I can be the living, breathing, walking, talking brand advocate for courage and being the couragepreneur.
I think you're so right, because there's plenty of people who can recite you chapter and verse from a book, but for me personally, if somebody has actually been there and they can tell me their life lessons,
Mm.
that for me, it captures my attention. That's no disrespect to any of the
Yes.
of the academic. It's just a question for me. It's earthy feeling.
Well, I
Uh,
think both you and I have a PhD in life, Paul.
yeah.
So, no discredit to academia. I myself have a degree and a diploma and certifications, which is why I guess I kind of suffered the imposter syndrome, because I'm thinking, well, if I want to coach, I need the coaching institute, or I need NLP, or I need this, or I need that. It's like, no, I am enough. I have lived experience such as yourself. And that's what people really want. They want the authentic, all the authentic pics, the real lived, PhD in life kind of stuff.
Absolutely, and you can't teach what you don't know, and you can't lead where you won't go. So
Mm.
there's very little left in life where you haven't been on things like that. I'm just thinking of your cat with the number of
Not
lives.
lives. Yeah,
So,
fallen down a cellar,
yeah, no.
being detained at customs in a foreign country with contraband. It's like, ah!
You're the who's who of things you shouldn't do. I mean, it's incredible. So, I mean, we may have already covered this, but is there a sort of a certain setback or a failure or you've had to overcome?
Yeah, there is, because I was thinking about, I've had the accidents that have happened to me, and they've also happened for me, I might add.
Mm,
But one really defining moment where I really had to dig deep for courage was when we were facing bankruptcy. My then fiance, or then husband, and we invested in a mortgage broking firm that was, one of the gun ones. We'd done our due diligence and
mm,
everything like that. They were a rising star, um, credible in all financial reviews. But the franchisor went bankrupt. And so we'd invested several $100,000 with that branch. And conversely, we'd also been quite mortgaged heavily with investment properties. We were facing the wall. We were personally facing bankruptcy. And I had to stave off going bankrupt, because I know that once you go bankrupt, it's really challenging to get back from there. And I won't say it was easy financially, it wasn't,
mm.
but I just really had to go, okay, how do we get through this? And I will be honest, it did take a toll on our marriage as well, because when finances aren't there, everything else is amplified. I do say that my ex and I have a very respectful relationship for each other. We care for each other. We're just not married, and we're not in love with each other, but we do care deeply. So that was a real aha moment for both me, or my husband and I, when we were facing bankruptcy.
See, anyone who's doubting whether you've got the life credentials here, I mean, it's every page you turn over is like another book. So,
Like, what next?
yeah, exactly. I'm frightened. I think we'll just call it here. No, I mean, to be honest, wow. Any one of those things you've mentioned would be enough to put somebody out.
Mm, mm,
It's a testament to you and that word courage, which I really now are starting to appreciate how
yeah,
important that is. So,
mm, yeah.
yeah, you've earned your courage word, I think.
Yeah, well, I have, and I actually own it, I like to say. And you can say, well, that's arrogance. It's like, well, I
No,
was
no,
only
no.
2 pound 2 when I was born. So that was a tiny little bubba. And I hung on to mum's hand, like I really hung on to her finger, really, because that's all I could hold, because I was
Mm,
so tiny. And she knew that I would live. And I used to take like half an hour to have an ounce of milk and everything, because I was too tiny to breastfeed.
mm.
And then my dad used to work for Courage Breweries as well. So there's another Courage. And my maiden name was Cumming. And our family motto is Courage. So it's like, yep, I'm the couragepreneur. That's me. So,
Well, do you know, I'm really pleased you saw the signs and you acted on them, because if you're like,
yeah,
no, there's this word I can't. So no,
yeah.
that's so. Look, tell us what are you working on at the moment? Because yeah, I mean, we've got the big C word around us. So tell us
Yeah.
what's cooking in your kitchen at the moment.
Yeah, well, I want to say to your audience, Paul, I'm actually really thankful of COVID. I am totally respectful of all the sad, tragic loss of life and challenges that people have gone through. And I will say that my daughter's partner has had COVID. So I've got lived experience in that as well. But what I'm working on, I'm just so grateful because it's really made me drill down to what's important. So when you can't go outside, you go inside. So what am I working on? I've got my podcast out there, The Couragepreneur. So that's out there on iTunes, Spotify, all those. I've got my coaching modules out there. I've updated my website, and literally I'm working on my 2 respective businesses. So in between that, there's not a lot of free time. But having said that, I am a beach crew leader for meditation because I literally do have to be mindful of my own mental health. Like yourself, when you keep giving, you need to put that oxygen mask, which is taking a new turn in COVID.
Literally now, isn't it?
Metaphorical oxygen mask on yourself first. And that's what I've been doing. And I went to meditation this morning at 6:30 on the beach. Then I came home and had a bath. And I posted, it's never too early for a bath, is it? And I'm having, I guess, a positive mental health day today. So yeah, I have a really good balance because I worked for government for 20 odd years, and you always had deadlines and, reports and things and accountability. And I'm not saying I'm not accountable in my businesses, but I really have to take stock. And being an entrepreneur, you can work 7 days a week, 12, 18, 20 hours a day. If you don't have that mindset to go, take stock. So I've been taking stock and stopping to go forward.
And as you say, somebody who wants to give, it's very, very difficult. And and I always say that, because people give, if you actually dial that back, that's kind of like somebody's best day out anyway. But
Exactly.
it's over delivering at every time.
Yes.
And I it just occurred to me. Talk about the oxygen mask on a plane. They won't even know. People won't even know what a plane is now. So, what falls out of the sky? So, no,
it's like it's a bird. It's Superman. No, it's a plane.
And that's a UFO now. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Oh, hey, if anyone sees that we are joking and laughing, this is real stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly it. You said I'm high energy and passionate, and I have the acronym for PICS: passionate, influential, and exciting. But everything I do is based around physical and mental health, and also having fun. Like, you have to have fun in life, and I guess that's what keeps me going. And hey, I'm human. I have down days where there was one weekend in COVID that I just couldn't be bothered. I went to meditation. It was in winter, so it was quite cold because we still do it in winter. And I got home at like 8 o'clock, and I went straight to bed. And I was exhausted emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Even though I'd done meditation, I was cold to the bone and just empty. And for the weekend, and then I got up about 3 o'clock. I didn't sleep, but I just lazed around, got up about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, had a shower, put my fresh pajamas back on, went back to bed. And my daughter goes, "Mummy, you okay?" I went, "No, I'm not actually." And I share this to say it happens to everybody. You cannot be up all the time. And she said, "Mum, it's okay." And my 22-year-old daughter gave me a love punch saying, "It's okay to not be okay." And that was like a real, I've given here, there, everywhere. Now, I just had a slump, and it lasted 2 days, which for me is huge. And it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing I mean, obviously, what you went through at that point is, you wouldn't wish on anyone, but what that actually does is that makes you even more real, because, somebody who actually can say, "Listen, I have the bad days too. I am not always 100% up all the time."
Yeah.
And again, we're going to come back to that word courage. It takes the courage to actually admit that, and actually,
Mm.
and I think that's what gives you even more empathy with
Oh, yeah,
people.
definitely.
But people then, because reaching out to you, because you're like, last week or whatever, that was me. So I think that's a powerful thing, powerful. So
Yeah, thank you. And
no,
thank you for the opportunity to share too. I really appreciate that. And I'm surprised, but I'm not, because that's exactly how my life is unfolding. Like the energy, the frequency, the vibration. When you start operating at a new vibration, and that's not to say I'm better than anyone else by any means. It's just that I am personally operating at a higher frequency than what I, as Pix Jonasson, used to. And when you start understanding neuroplasticity and the rewiring of the brain, yeah, it's an incredible world, and we really don't use much of that 6 inches between our ears. But the more we understand that, and the more you let go as well,
Yep.
the more incredible opportunities come to you.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's trying to like hold on to sand, and it doesn't matter, or water. It doesn't matter how tight you clench your fist, it's still
Yeah.
going to run through. So,
Well, as we were talking earlier before we went on air, Paul, about the snow, it's not
yeah,
sticky, but yes, it is now, and you can start to form that. Exactly. If you've got snow and it's not sticky, and it's like that wet snow,
yeah,
you're not going to be able to build that metaphor, that physical snowman. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Well, that nice one. I'm gonna say that to my wife. That's wonderful. So now I get to the, as if this wasn't fun enough, I get to the second part of the show where I get to ask you for 3 wishes. So are you ready? You look ready. You look
Yeah,
ready.
wish.
You look ready.
Mm.
Hey, I'm the one who needs to do the warm up, not you. So, the wish number one: what has been the best advice you have ever received?
That I've ever received, the best advice that I've ever received. Just believe in myself.
Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
I think if you start from there, like we said, letting go, everything just
Yeah,
seems to
yeah.
ripple
And
and
believe in yourself that you are enough, that I am enough.
mm, yeah. I mean, and
Because, life isn't beer and skittles or unicorns and rainbows all the time. And it's great to have goals, but having goals is like a bit of a dichotomous thing, because it's like great to go and achieve them and work towards them. That's almost saying I'm not happy with where I am.
yeah,
So
yeah.
being grateful for where I am, and just, believing in myself, knowing that I am enough. And this is to everyone: know that you are enough right here, right now.
And enjoy the journey, because everyone
Mm.
seems to be so hell-bent on getting to the destination that,
Destination.
and it's
Yeah.
like, well, you missed all the best bits. So yeah, I think that's a really good message, and
Mm.
just a slow down, you've got this type thing. So I love it.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. So that brings me to my second wish, which is, what advice would you give your younger self?
Relinquish attachment to the outcome.
Yeah, that. That's
Mm.
that's a big one. That's a big one.
It is for your 16-year-old self or your junior self, but it's all tied in with living in the now.
Mm, mm,
Um, and nobody else's opinion of you matters.
mm.
The most important opinion is that of yourself.
And having had to stare down bankruptcy, where potential loss of stuff and things, it's you. If you've got such a firm grip on the outcome, the what it is,
Mm.
that's the sort of thing which can emotionally and mentally break you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you've got Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and, food, water, shelter, money is up there. And I think our thoughts around money are so intrinsically tied with our thoughts and value about ourselves. Money is simply energy. It's an incredible tool. It's also an incredible weapon. But yeah, how we think about money is so tied to how we value ourselves.
And you're right. There's lots of misconceptions of money where you think, well, I'm not worthy. And so you're absolutely right and when people talk about money, it's actually a man-made concept. And
it is.
So it's not Mother Nature telling us that's what it is. It's something we created, and then we put a whole ring of stress around it. So great advice.
Thank you.
So now we're going to go to my last wish, which is, what is one personal habit or which attributes to your success?
Meditation. Yeah, and like I said earlier, Paul, when you can't go outside, go inside. I'm high energy, I'm high achieving, I'm dynamic. I think fast, I walk fast, I talk fast. But slowing down, being present in the moment, and really just letting go and just being. Yeah, so meditation would be for me. There's guided meditations, or there's, silent meditations. So yeah, it would be, and I'm only fairly new to that. By that, I'm 54 and a half. It would be the last 2 years that I've been presented with meditation, and it kind of found me. And now I'm privileged to be a beach crew leader. So yeah, just that spirituality side of things has definitely been the calming, the grounding force for me.
And I think that's I think when everyone's losing their heads, if you're able to just slow down, hold your own, and when all this craziness goes away, because it will go away, it's going to be people like you who are actually going to be helping the rebuilding afterwards.
That's such a moot point, because like, not discounting the tragic loss of life of COVID and the misrepresentation. I won't get into politics and everything. It's like, you don't ask a doctor about COVID, ask a politician. But anyway, that's another story. Yeah, it's the mental health and the financial ramifications of COVID, which are going to continue for far greater than the physical loss. Yeah, so that's such a valid point.
And, the landscape as we know is pretty much gone. There is no maybe going back to, and actually we've got to remember that it wasn't all roses and as you said, unicorns beforehand, so we have to be careful what we actually run back to. Crumbs, that was wonderful. I mean, great value there. I really feel that I'm ahead in the stakes on that one. So my cat has just docked one of your lives onto mine, so I'm now 10 lives. So,
that's good.
I wonder, is there a book which you've sort of gone to, or something you could recommend to the listeners?
Look, it depends on their beliefs, and when I say that, what they're ready for, because I have a saying, and it's not my saying, but one I use: when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So it depends on what their level is. Like, I've read The Secret, that's a great one, but now I've taken that to a new level. That's about law of attraction. There's law of vibration. There's Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton, which is not a bit, it's a lot more scientific about the cellular level of biology and belief and how frequencies and everything. On a business front, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Leadership, anything by John Maxwell, Stephen Covey. So it depends on what the audience is kind of leaning towards.
Just let the audience know what the title of your book is.
Well, that's a really interesting one, because I've a co-author, an international best-selling co-author, which is Yes, I Can, where I'm fortunate to be one of 22 people who are speaking, and mine's all about courage and resilience. So Yes, I Can is that one.
I mean, to be honest, I'm having looked into what I've also forgot. my audience is a really well-educated lot, so you don't have to worry about them.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I'm talking to them. Yeah, they're good. They're good. So
Yeah.
you're talking the right language. So
Yeah.
no, I mean, wonderful. Great,
Well, I
great.
must say that I'm pleasantly surprised to speak to an ex-commercial lawyer
Yeah.
come spirituality. Like, really?
I,
And I love the fact that, on LinkedIn, whatever platform it is, that we've had that ability to connect. And, I was saying previously when we chatted, Paul, about this lawyer, and she's now the laughing lawyer because she's got a business based around laughing or, laughter meditation. And just, yeah, no
I mean,
discredit, like,
oh no,
yeah,
no.
academia, but it's also science and spirituality, and I love that as well.
I mean, to be honest, the nice thing is the spectrum, and you can
Yeah,
pass through each part, and each part is just as good as the next part. But
yeah,
and you know, as illustration of journeys, because you know, we all have a choice. We could
we
stay
do,
still, or we can.
yeah.
So
Can you just repeat that, because I think people need to hear that again?
yeah,
We all have a choice.
we do, and you and I, we've talked about choices
Mm.
and forks in the road. Sorry to bring up the road, but you know,
Yeah.
there's times where actually we could just say, no, I'm done. I'm done.
Mm, mm, yeah.
I go back to the courage that it takes, that courage to
Mm.
do a lot of things. So wonderful. Look, I've really enjoyed our chat. I'm going to just quickly sum up before I'm going to ask you where you hang out. But you can see that if this lady hasn't done it, it's not worth doing it. You know, her cat. If you're her cat, run, because otherwise you ain't going to see it through the day. And you know, and somebody who's you know, very authentic, very holistically connected, and I think would be a really good leader and guide through any sort of adversity you are coming across. So
Mm.
that's kind of my read on you. So I hope that's fairly close to the mark,
Yeah, thank you.
except the cat. So where can we find you? Tell us where we can get hold of you.
Well, obviously we connected on LinkedIn, Paul. So Pix Jonasson on LinkedIn. I'm also very active on Facebook. Very difficult to friend request me because I'm maxing out to 5,000. But there's Pix Jonasson Resilience Coach. So that's on Facebook as well. Also on Instagram as well. But I guess the more professional one is LinkedIn. Or people could go to my website. That's pixjonasson.com. pixjonasson.com. And if you want to have a complimentary chat, feel free to reach out to me. Would only be too happy, and just dance in the conversation, see where it leads.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if anyone wants a conversation like we've just had, this goes exactly like this. We're on our second conversation,
Second, yeah.
and it's been no different except I hit a record button some way through. You mostly haven't even realized I am doing no. So look, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you as a genie. Plenty of wisdom and takeaways for everyone there. And if anyone needs to reach out, it doesn't matter that Pix is in Australia. The one of the other good things about COVID is that we can actually talk to people all over the world now, where
Absolutely,
we would have mostly
yeah.
just been like ships passing in the night.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Well, look, final question: did you enjoy yourself?
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much. As I said, it's always an honor and privilege to share, and I really appreciate the opportunity for being interviewed and, well, having a chat, basically, Paul.
Yeah. For me, it's going to be a glass of wine, etc. For you, it's a cup of coffee. So
yeah, that's right. Or my healthy fizz.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
coffee is not really a bad word. So, so look, thank you very much, and viewers and listeners. I've credited you by being as an educated audience. Please don't let me down. And we'll see you all on the next time. Thank you very much for tuning in, and release your genie. Thank you very much for again, Pix, and we'll see everyone real soon. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, that's a wrap. You have been listening to yet another episode of the Release the Genie podcast with host Paul Rogers. Be sure to follow Paul on the LinkedIn platform and learn more of Paul's resources at www.takeactionacademy.ca. And until next time, as always, be mindful and be sure to release your genie. Thanks for listening.